A man who knows himself cannot be controlled. And ironically, it is this kind of man, centered, indifferent to validation, and rooted in purpose, who often finds women most drawn to him. Not because he chases, but because he doesn't. In a world full of distraction and emotional chaos, a man with internal stillness becomes a rare magnet. What he possesses is not game, charm, or deceit, but self-mastery. And nothing ignites deeper attachment than a man who remains unfazed. From the wisdom of Stoic thought and the deep undercurrents of female psychology, we come to understand that obsession is not born from manipulation, it is born from contrast. A man who stands apart from the crowd, not by louder words but by quieter strength, becomes unforgettable. Let us now explore 5 key traits that generate this powerful effect, not for the sake of conquest, but for the cultivation of self. A world where emotional reactivity is the norm, the man who possesses emotional control stands out without saying a word. He does not allow the highs or lows of another person's mood to determine his own state of mind. This calm, quiet discipline is not coldness, it is clarity. Women are often drawn to a man not because he overwhelms them with affection or intensity, but because he remains unshaken in moments where others would crumble. When tension arises, when games are played, or when drama surfaces, most men chase resolution, validation, or escape. But the Stoic man stays still. He breathes, thinks, and speaks with intention. This ability to remain composed signals something primal. It tells her without words that he is in command, not over her but over himself. That is rare, and rarity is valuable. She tests not to destroy, but to feel his strength. If he reacts emotionally, argues, pleads, or breaks, she knows he is just like the rest. But if he meets tension with patience, confusion with understanding, and provocation with silence, something changes. He becomes a mirror that reflects her, a presence that steadies her. This kind of presence creates a deep emotional attachment, not because he gives her everything she wants, but because he becomes something she can't find anywhere else. A stable center in a world full of noise. Emotional control isn't about suppression, it's about choosing your response. It's about valuing your peace more than proving a point. It's the kind of strength that cannot be faked and cannot be resisted. And once a woman feels that strength, she will sense its depth even in his absence. Emotional control is power, not the kind that dominates, but the kind that endures, attracts, and earns lasting respect. A man who lives with purpose beyond any single relationship possesses a power that few understand and even fewer embody. When a woman senses that she is not the center of a man's world, but rather a part of a much larger mission, she feels something she doesn't often admit, a growing desire to be closer. This is not because he devalues her, but because he values something greater than comfort, attachment, or approval. That something might be his craft, his growth, his legacy, or his internal code. Whatever it is, it cannot be swayed by love or loneliness. Many men lose themselves in the pursuit of a woman. They make her the goal, the reward, the validation. In doing so, they give away their center. A man without a deeper mission becomes emotionally dependent, and dependency erodes respect. A woman may enjoy attention, but she does not admire desperation. The man who orbits around her becomes predictable, and predictability without mystery leads to disinterest. But the man who moves toward his own horizon with or without her remains magnetic. This kind of focus does not mean ignoring her or becoming distant. It means you bring her into your world, not abandon your world for hers. You continue your path regardless of how she responds. Your time becomes valuable, not because you withhold it, but because it is rooted in something meaningful. She senses that being with you is not a distraction, but a privilege. This subtle shift in dynamic changes everything. She begins to pursue, to invest, to wonder where she stands. Not because you played a game, but because you didn't. You simply remained loyal to your mission. And in doing so, you became the rarest kind of man. The one who does not chase, because he is already moving forward. Fascination often arises not from constant availability, but from subtle unpredictability. When a man is entirely predictable, always present, always eager, he becomes easy to understand and therefore easy to take for granted. But when a man carries a sense of mystery, when his actions are deliberate but not always expected, he becomes a puzzle that invites curiosity. This doesn't mean being manipulative or withholding affection. It means maintaining a level of independence and self-direction that doesn't orbit around another person's expectations. Women, like all people, are drawn to novelty and intrigue. When a man is slightly unpredictable, not chaotic but thoughtfully varied, he awakens deeper emotional engagement. He does not reveal every thought, share every plan, or offer constant reassurance. He moves with purpose, but he keeps a part of himself unspoken. This makes his presence refreshing and his attention more valuable. She cannot fully predict what he'll say next or how he'll respond. That lack of complete certainty creates depth. This trait keeps the connection alive. It resists the dullness of routine and the boredom that comes when things are too easy to figure out. A man who keeps a woman emotionally engaged is not one who changes who he is to entertain her, but one who simply lives his life on his terms, sometimes inviting her in, sometimes choosing solitude. He values spontaneity, silence, and surprise. This unpredictability reflects confidence. It shows he doesn't need to constantly prove himself or explain his every move. He is self-contained, and that self-containment is deeply attractive. She feels like she's always discovering something new, even after time has passed. The Stoic. Man who remains calm yet unreadable, present yet not dependent, becomes a presence that lingers in the mind. She doesn't just want him, she wants to understand him, and that is far more powerful. True power in relationships comes from desiring without needing, loving without clinging, and maintaining the ability to walk away when respect or balance is lost. This principle embodies the Stoic ideal of non-attachment, where a man does not base his self-worth or happiness on the approval or presence of another. When a man can love freely yet independently, he shows a rare strength that many mistake for indifference but is in truth deep inner security. Women sense this non-attachment on a profound level. It signals that the man values himself enough not to tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or emotional games. This kind of man does not chase after love or validation. Instead, he allows connection to grow naturally or dissolve without desperation. The absence of clinginess or neediness creates a paradoxical attraction because it reveals a man who is whole on his own, making his affection a choice rather than a necessity. When a man acts from this place, women feel a magnetic pull. It's the power of someone who does not depend on external factors for their peace. Such a man offers space for her individuality, space for growth, and space for genuine connection. He understands that love is not possession, but partnership, and that freedom within a relationship breeds deeper attachment than control or demands ever could. This non-attachment does not mean coldness or withdrawal. It means balance and clarity. A man who can let go when needed communicates that respect and mutual effort are essential. If those are lacking, he will not beg or plead. Instead, he will calmly and confidently step away, preserving his dignity and emotional health. Women recognize this strength as both a challenge and an invitation, a challenge to rise to his level, and an invitation to share in a genuine, unforced bond. This is the kind of power that fosters true obsession, rooted not in dependency, but in respect and freedom. A man's true power lies in his ability to be deeply present, fully engaged in the moment without distraction or judgment. In a world where many speak without listening and see without observing, the Stoic man practices the rare art of attention. This presence is not about trying to fix, advise, or change. It is about genuinely witnessing another person's thoughts, feelings, and expressions with patience and respect. When a woman feels truly seen and heard, an emotional connection is forged that is difficult to break. Most men approach conversations with their own agenda, trying to impress or prove something. They listen just enough to respond, but not enough to understand. This superficial engagement leaves women feeling unseen and unvalued. The Stoic man, however, listens deeply. He is silent when silence is needed, and speaks when his words serve the moment. This creates a space where vulnerability can arise safely, and trust can grow naturally. Such presence reflects mastery over the mind, freeing oneself from distraction, ego, and impatience. It signals that the man values the woman's inner world as much as his own, making her feel important without needing to say it. This is not flattery but authenticity. The emotional imprint left by such awareness lasts long after the interaction ends because it touches a fundamental human need: to be understood. Women are instinctively drawn to a man who can hold space for them without judgment or hurry. This presence acts as a grounding force amid life's chaos, making her feel calm, secure, and valued. It is a form of silent strength, power that does not boast, but quietly commands respect. When a man masters this art, he becomes unforgettable not because of grand gestures, but